Welcome back into another episode of NA Now. I'm Brandon Hofstra, joined here with Blake Hietala, head coach of the Wisconsin Windigo. Blake, thanks for taking some time. Talk about the summer so far. And before we got on the screen, you're talking about you guys are getting going already out on the ice.
Yeah, thanks for having me. First of all, summer went by quick. We ran a hockey school in Eagle River for 5 weeks, so it took a lot of our time, and we got done with that, got right into main camp, and then 2 short weeks later, our guys reported, and we've just over a week in a training camp now.
Right on, getting ready for the showcase that's coming up. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. But first year, obviously, with the new team, Midwest Division regular season title, but just falling short of reaching the Robertson Cup. But what were your overall thoughts on last season, and especially with the success you guys saw with the first year franchise?
Yeah, I think it was a kind of a bitter ending for us, but as time passed after that last playoff series and able to take a step back and look at the season as a whole, I think we can be pretty proud of having that much success in year one. So trying to look at the big picture that way, but definitely a little bit of a salty taste at the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, always move up every year, but just talk about kind of the important things you took away for your first season as a head coach in the NAHL.
I don't know if there's anything really put my finger on right now, but just I think the overall experience and going through the whole year process, my first time through it. I think as we go, and myself and Casey have already talked about things that we've adjusted now, even in training camp, just things that we learned last year. And so I think just the whole experience as a whole is going to be pretty invaluable.
We saw a pretty tremendous number of NCAA commitments coming out of the Wisconsin, the Windigo. But just talk about that feeling that you get as a coach, seeing your players succeed and get that commitment just day in and day out with the work they put in, especially.
Yeah, I mean that's why we're here. Our ownership group, that's their focus, is to help guys move on, and kind of our every day is built around development and guys
Mhm.
getting better. And so to see a bunch of guys get rewarded with Division One opportunities was pretty cool to be a part of.
Definitely. Let's talk. Pardon me. Let's talk about this upcoming season. Any returners you're expecting to have a big impact on your squad this year?
Yeah, I think we've got a nice mix of guys that have already had success in the league and guys that I think are ready to take steps. So a couple of guys that come to mind, Max Martin and Will Schumacher both had over 40 points last year in the league. They'll be back, so they'll be leaned on early. And then I think we've got a nice group up front that of guys that had decent years and I think are ready to take steps. And those guys are Zach Burfoot, Drew Fisher, Zach Klein, Everett Patilla, Luke Baker, and then Tyler Graham, who started with us and finished the year in the USHL, is back as well. So I think we've got a nice mix of experience up front that we should be able to lean on early. And then on the back end, couple third-year guys, Daniil Dozenko is back and Sam Grubner is back. And so those are guys that'll be able to play a lot of minutes early. And then Mario DiMaggio was another kid that was young for us last year, but I think he had a nice offseason. Hopefully is ready to take that next step and be a veteran leader for us. And then very recently, actually, we just shored up our goaltending situation with a trade with Bismarck for Leonard Slipskis. We had a nice season for them. So I think we got a nice mix of experience.
Yeah, definitely. Blake, last season was your first NAHL showcase as a head coach. Probably a little bit of jitters, a little stage fright, possibly out there with the new squad. But talk about this upcoming year and how excited you are to showcase this year's team in front of so many scouts and some familiar faces and friends that you'll see as well.
Yeah, no, we're excited to get back. It's obviously an awesome event. I've attended it probably every year for the last 6 years before I had this job on the scouting side of it. And last year was awesome to be a part of it. And we talked a lot last year about treating them like any other regular season game and trying to just avoid the extra noise that's around it. So that'll kind of be our message again, and probably easier said than done, but that'll be the focus going into it.
Definitely. Let's talk about the Eagle River community. Obviously, they've embraced you guys super well over there. And I recall last year, I think we kind of joked about the mascot of it being like a scary deer or something of the sorts. But talk about that community. And then has there been talks about a mascot, or is that too scary for the children at the games?
It might be too scary. But no, it's our community support grew over the season. By the end of the year, it was awesome. Early on, I think people were trying to figure out who we were and what we were. And then, as people got to games and realized the level of hockey. And our guys did a really good job of getting out in the community and growing that support as well with getting into the schools and youth hockey practices and all that. So, kind of down the home stretch of the regular season and playoffs, our crowds were awesome. And the atmosphere in the dome is kind of second to none. So I'm excited to get back there here and get going again and hopefully build off some of the momentum we had at the end of the year.
Definitely. All kicks off here in a few weeks. We will see you up in Minnesota and Blaine. And thanks again. It's a pleasure as always to talk to you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.